Welcome to the Coog Recruits Bite-Sized Mini Podcast. A podcast that's like, you can listen to it on your way to work, then put on your music on your way back from work, on your way to the gym, 10, 15 minutes bite-sized. Just something you can do. You can mix them with your other podcasts. Won't take too long. Digestible. That's why I call it that. So, if you read the thumbnail for today's video, the question we're going to be asking is, who is CB2? Who is going to be our second outside corner? Who's going to start alongside Latrell McCutchin, our other starter from last season? So, if you've been following the program for a while, you know that after this past season, the other corner that was going to start was Jeremiah Wilson, who had a great season, multiple interceptions, ball hawk, always where the ball needed to be. But unfortunately, right before the spring game, Jeremiah Wilson decided to enter the transfer portal, and he is now at Florida State. He is currently a Seminole, and very sad. I'm sure there is other factors involved, NIL and whatnot. Hope he has a great season, hope he just balls out. One of my friends, he's a Florida State fan, so he was very happy to get him. As soon as he committed, he texted me, like, we got one of your guys. And I was like, no. Yeah, he's going to hold that over my head all of next season, especially if he gets drafted. But this still leaves a hole in our offense. Not our offense. Our defense, my bad. I misspoke. Our defense. See, I'm used to interviewing people. This is the first podcast I've done where I'm just talking, I'm not interviewing a player, not interviewing a recruit. I'm just talking, sharing my opinions. I'm not a media member. I'm not Duarte. I'm just a guy talking to his camera who loves Houston athletics. So bear with me. I don't have any insider information. This is just pure speculation for your entertainment. So we need a CB2. Jeremiah Wilson is a Seminole. Who is it going to be? So if we're going for guys who played last year, first guy I want to go over is J.D. Rim. So J.D. Rim, he was on the team last year. He was a blue chip recruit, committed to Auburn out of high school. He was a pretty high 4-star. If he committed to us out of high school, he would have been our highest recruit that year, tied with Matthew Golden. I believe that was 2022. I need to double check that. But they were both like about a 94. So like a very high 4-star. If you have that kind of ranking, you have legitimate NFL potential, which is insane. And he played a lot as a true freshman at Auburn, which is very impressive, especially for a true freshman or a true sophomore. Then he transferred to us, I think 2 or 3 seasons ago. He played a lot of special teams last year, and I'm just ready for him to break out, man. It feels like he's been kind of for almost forgotten about, just because we got so many exciting transfers. We had so much projection for transfers last year, including Jeremiah Wilson. Got Christian Davis, Johnny Carter, who's playing for the Chiefs right now. We had a lot of exciting guys coming. He just kind of got buried, and I'm just ready to see him break out. I remember when we first landed him in the portal, I was just hyped up because I love it when we get blue chip guys. We just needed a change of scenery, and I'm ready for him to break out. Again, he's 6'2", and 6'2" corners, they don't grow on trees. Your average cornerback is going to be shorter than your average wide receiver. So if you can have like a guy who has the height and length to guard those like big like X receivers, kind of like remember we played CCU last year. They had this guy Savion Williams. I think he was like 6'4", 230, basically the size of a tight end, playing outside. And Jeremiah Wilson, he's about 5'10", and he was covering him a lot of the game, but he didn't really have like the height. He did a great job, but there's just some plays like you just can't do. There's just like this. There's a height difference. Like you can try your best, but you can't magically grow overnight before a game. It's just not going to happen. And you can't teach size. We can't. There's some traits you can't teach. So, hopefully he develops, and I really like to see him at least get a lot of snaps. Like he doesn't have to start. Again, I'm just starting the video, but somebody kind of stuck it out, stayed on the roster, didn't hop in the portal. It will be great to see him get an opportunity to start aside from McCutchin. All right, next player. So we got an intriguing prospect in the winter portal before Jeremiah Wilson entered in the spring. A cornerback by the name of Will James. So he initially committed to Mississippi State out of high school 2 seasons ago, redshirted, and then he transferred to Southern Mississippi, where he started at outside corner. Had a great season there. Had a great season. And, this is his second year out of high school, and he had very good production. It was a G5 school, but it's still FBS production. And, as we know, being fans of the American Athletic Conference for the past, before the past 2 years, this is going into our third season in the Big 12. The gap isn't that large. Like, we beat some heavy hitters. We beat ranked Oklahoma, beat ranked Louisville. Even this a few years ago, we beat Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl. That was a bad Auburn team. Don't get me wrong, that was not a good Auburn team. But hey, we still beat them. So some people might say, well, he's just playing at Southern Mississippi. Like, how is he going to play in the Big 12? But if he's playing that well, only a second year out of high school, I would I'll take that, man. That shows that he was playing young, and I take production as somebody that's very young. I value that a lot, just from my personal amateur scouting analysis. I think that's a great trait to have. Even if it takes some time to kind of develop and learn how to play at the power 4 level. I just love that. He's 6 feet, has good prototypical corner side, outside corner side. A lot of the starters in the NFL that are playing outside are just around that 5'11", 6 feet, and they do just fine. And if I had to, project a starter just based off the information I've seen from, Jackson and Ryan, people who have actually been to training camp and fall camp and have seen them play. If I had to project a starter just based off of what I've picked up, I was kind of penciling him in as the starter. This is just based off of stuff I've seen on message boards and articles. But yeah, I would not be surprised if he's the starter. Please don't stop watching the video. There's more. But yeah, I just really like his game, and it seems like he's been having really good practices since he came here. And the next 2 guys I'm going to go over. Let me see, not the next 2 guys. Yeah, the next 2 guys I'm going to go over. They came after spring ball, so they only had the summer to learn the defense. I just realized I forgot to write one of the guys' names down in my notes, so that's on me. But yeah, I think that's definitely an advantage he has over the other guys. He played spring ball. You got to learn from Jeremiah, learn from Latrell, and just pick their brains a little bit. So yeah, I'm not saying he's going to start, but I do like what I've seen out of him. So next we have Keeney Parks. So he's a transfer we got after the spring game from Wyoming. And ironically, Keeney's 6'1", about the same size as Latrell, and maybe a little bigger. He's pretty muscular. He's got some guns on him. He'll be a true junior. So he didn't redshirt, but he came to Wyoming as a running back initially. He switched to outside corner, which is quite the transition. I feel like if he came into a school as a running back, you're going to switch to a defensive back position. It would be safety or something, but now he was an outside corner. And he's played that position for 2 seasons, and he started last year at Wyoming, and he was really good. He had a lot of this is a good physical player. Again, the one knock on him is that he came late, so it's taken him more time to get acclimated. But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, because again, he had production young. He graduated high school the same year that Will James did, which I believe would be 2023. Because he said if he's going to be a true junior, so they're around the same age. So he had that great production. Yeah, I like his size, like his strength. He plays aggressive, and I think he has a shot. If you can't tell, I value size and traits a lot. But also value having experience early. Now, speaking of size and traits, the guy I'm going to talk about next, he has all the size and traits you want, and that is going to be Zelmar Vetter. So Zelmar Vetter is 6'3", is an outside corner, and that's the same size as Pro Bowl corner Sauce Gardner, who looks like a shooting guard. Just able to just use his length and just to kind of smother a lot of outside receivers, and I see that in Zelmar a lot. Zelmar is going to transfer he transferred past tense from Sacramento State, and he's just his highlight tape is electric, man. He's just so big, so fast, so physical. He also has a TikTok that has a lot of followers, so he's a bit of a social media star too. He has some funny sketch videos he puts on there about playing football, but Man, like I told you about JD Rim, who's 6'2", but he's 6'3", which imagine like having like a 6'3" Vetter on the outside and 6'1" McCutchin on the other side. That's just crazy. Yeah, not to obsess over his height too much, but that's just watching his highlight, man. It's just hard to get a pass. He's like a quarterback's worst nightmare, because if he's guarding your guy, and you don't have a lot of chance to make a lot of passes. And there are some like smaller like receivers that play outside of the Big 12. So imagine you're starting outside receivers like 5'10", 5'9", 5'8". You just got Zelmar Vetter on them, just swatting the ball out of the way. Probably have like 10 passes defended in like one game. Okay, I'm hyping him up a little bit, but I'm just saying, man, I'm excited about it. And going back to the same problem I might have mentioned about Will James. He played at a FCS school, but remember one guy we had. Of course, now that I'm recording, his name is escaping me. Isaiah Hamilton, that's right. And he transferred from Texas Southern University. I believe they play in the SWAC. I need to fact check that. Back when I was a kid, they played in the SWAC. I used to go to a few TSU games, which is a pretty good conference for the FCS level. But and he came here and he started at outside corner, and he had he was pretty good. So just because someone played FCS ball does not mean that they can't like make the transition. There is a different position, but there's whose name is not coming to me right now. But there's one guy, he was played at Florida State a couple seasons ago, but he played at an FCS school. Played at Florida State and then got drafted like in the first or second round as like a defensive end, I believe. His name will come to me eventually, but they don't sleep on somebody just because they played at a lower level. Some people, they just have talents and they are overlooked. I know Zelmar played at a junior college for a little bit before transferring up to Sacramento State. Some people, he played a wide receiver in high school, so he could have just been overlooked. And at that position, and maybe that just wasn't the right position for him. Some people are just they're good at one position at high school, and the coaches scout them in that position. But then they figure out later on, like in college or junior college, that I'm actually pretty good at corner. I'm actually better at corner than I am at wide receiver. Not everybody can be Travis Hunter and play both positions. So, and that's just how things work. Maybe if he played corner in high school, he would have been like a 4-star. So, definitely don't overlook guys. So, I've gone over JD Rim, Will James, Keanu Parks, and Zolmar Vetter. But you probably think I'm done, but I'm not. I have one sleeper pick, and that is going to be Georgia Southern transfer Marcus Stampy. So, Marcus Stampy is listed as a safety. His main position is safety, but he played a lot of ball at outside corner. So I was looking at his PFF. As you know, I'm a football nerd. I have to pay for PFF. And he had, let's see, looking at his stats real quick. With a memento. He had 208 snaps at wide cornerback, 145 at slot cornerback. There we go. And only 151 at free safety. So 145 at slot. He had 100 in the box too. 151 at free safety, and 208 at wide cornerback, outside corner. So if you hear those, I'm sure the first word that comes to your mind is versatile, like versatility. Like that's like not normal. Like most players, they just can't move around that much. They say, I'm going to play outside corner, I'm going to play nickel, I'm going to play safety, and let me do that. Like don't move me around too much. And he played like in all phases of the secondary pretty much. And I was shocked to see that he played most of his snaps at outside corner. So I'm sure he's going to be playing either safety or nickel. But I had to put in something interesting in the video. That's kind of like my sleeper pick for him, was that he would be he could be an outside corner maybe. It's not really a great sign for the defense if you have your safety playing outside and get outside corner. But maybe he's just that good. And again, that's why he's a sleeper pick. Probably not, but maybe. You never know. Never say never. And it's not like he doesn't have any experience. He played that position at the FBS level. So, yeah. Could be interesting. That's pretty much the video. I could make a video for safety, too. But I don't really see I feel like our safety room, there's a lot more of a veteran presence there. If you ask me today, who do I think the outside Who I think the starting safety would be, I'd say Jordan Allen. He's the LSU transfer. Again, I'm a fan, not a media member, just a guy who loves Cougar football. But yeah, I think he's had a great spring. The other players seem to, the interviews, they always mention his name. I kind of use the same method I used for Will James. A lot of players spoke very highly of Will James. A lot of players spoke highly of Jordan Allen. And it'll be kind of funny because AJ Halsey's going to be starting at strong safety at LSU. It'll be hilarious if we end up having Jordan Allen starting at safety here. It's almost like we did like an NFL trade or something. Like, I'm going to send you Halsey, give us Allen. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Maybe you don't think it was funny, but it'd be funny if they just end up switching schools. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Again, this is my first video where I'm just talking in front of the camera. Nobody that I'm interviewing, so please be kind in the comments. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment who your pick is for outside corner if you made it this far. Just to show that you watched the video, you finished the video. Who do you think? If in your ideal world based off of what you know, who would you like to have start the opposite of McCutchin? Yeah, that can be your comment. That can be your little homework. So I know that you watched it. Again, thanks for watching and go Cougs.